speaking of waiting things, we've been waiting a long time for Vrana to come back for the Red Wings. Coyotes in town tomorrow. Now, before we get to that, though, D-Mac, we do have to touch base. While they were competitive in the Tampa game, I did not like the way that weekend went. They got thumped by Florida. They got choked out by Tampa. And there's no shame in getting choked out by Tampa. They're a Stanley Cup contender. Florida is a Stanley Cup contender. But this seems to be the norm against the good teams. Again, I'm not saying the Yzer plans failed. Fire everybody. I'm not saying that. I'm still happy with the way things are going. I am growing a little more frustrated with the way they play in these games against good opposition. Is that fair?
Then slow it down. Because you're speeding up again, just because you're seeing things, and so the expectations get going. But
then they play well again. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, but what did I say? Did I change the fact that it's the up and down?
No, you didn't.
The inconsistency. What they do is that they can play parts of games, but they haven't figured out how to play 60 minutes. And what you saw as we're getting into March, last month of the season, where the top teams are gearing up. Now, they can be competitive like they were and beat a team like Carolina. This is where the difference from them and last year with the talent, and they can score goals, but they're not there yet. It's because if your expectations are out of line.
Okay.
I just think you
but
get.
See, then, but then
it's
they win
okay
one of those
because
games.
It's like pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Right. We're pushing. Well, okay, we got the old car out. Whatever. Like we're pushing. We know we can't go over 60, but we're getting up there. Oh, it feels good. You get caught speeding a little bit because this is who they are. Right? Let's look at more. I'm more concerned to look at what has happened and the change. You mentioned Jakub Vrana. We've been waiting for him to come back and stuff like this. And I think I mentioned, a couple weeks ago or whatever, if I was looking at the calendar, tomorrow would be the perfect game against Arizona.
That was impressive. You called that like 2 weeks ago.
Well,
you said
just
watch.
Looking at the schedule. It's just the common sense to sort of thing. And today in practice, and you'll hear more tomorrow because they won't hide it till game time. They'll announce it tomorrow in the morning skate. But he was skate on a line with Pius Suter and Robbie Fabry. So to me, that tells me that it could be just like I expected. That's one guy. But there's also two. This kid, and I seen it in the chat, that we picked up off waivers from Florida, Oli Levy. Now, here's the one thing is that, and I showed Sawyer, we sort of went through this together of, okay, let me deep dive into it because honestly, I don't recognize the name, right? So then I go do some deep dive and I look and I go, oh, okay. He was a 2016 draft. That's where Austin Matthews, Toronto, went first overall. This kid went 5th overall. Where did we choose that draft? We had to be up there. No. This is the last draft where we picked 20th. We got Dennis Cholowski. So right off the bat, because you get this kid off waivers, Cholowski's no longer in your organization. So if you look at that for a loss, but you look at what you got in return for him, but now you took the 5th overall pick from this draft. So there's talent there. Where does he come from? He come from Finland. Then he played in the minors. Who do I relate him to? Let's say comparable as a left-handed Gustav Lindstrom. Right, who we have right now. So this is a kid that has played in world championships. He has pedigree. He's been scouted by the best European scout in the world, in my opinion, Håkan Andersson, who's brought everybody great to this organization. And there's something in this kid, and it's more of opportunity. But, Neil, here's the thing. Work out or it doesn't work out. Sawyer, how much is this kid making this year?
$750,000.
Okay, right to your rate again. Opportunity. I look for this to get opportunity.
Got a ton of cap
here's the caveat, right? Where we're coming down to trade deadline. What does this tell me? This tells me that for sure it looks like a Nick Leddy and a Mark Stahl are going to be shopped right at the deadline, and this gives you leeway to get rid of them, which is all in the #Wiser plan. So it'll be interesting. There's obviously some. This guy impresses Stevie enough, but if you look at the pedigree, he's got something there, being a 5th overall pick. And sometimes in these situations, change of scenery or opportunity. And I don't think there's a better opportunity than right now with the Detroit Red Wings. So, hey, you never know. But that's a little insight. So I would expect tomorrow by this time, and I'll hit up our good friend Daniela Bruce. doing the pregame skate, but we'll know more. And it'll be an exciting game if Jakub Vrana is back in the lineup.
No, and Terry, I think we're seeing that, right, with Yzerman. And now this is, I think, what you would consider a fruit of the labor of how he's retooled the roster, especially financially, where there was so much cap space. This is literally, it's a flyer. It is. It's a flyer. It's a low cost, no risk. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, that's cool too. It's literally free money that he has. And so I am disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed with what happened on Sunday, or what happened over the weekend in Florida. I'm disappointed with what happened Saturday against the Panthers. That being said, it does reinforce where I am with Yzerman, and I think everybody kind of shares that, right? Where he has this whole thing flipped around now, and now you have the opportunity to make these kinds of moves.
Right, and Yzerman is in a position where he can tell you, the fan base, don't worry, because every move isn't going to work. Every move initially isn't going to look great, but you have to. I think he's looking down the road. The thing I like about Steve Yzerman, when we were bitching about, they didn't get the #1 pick, he's like, I'm still going to get a good player. Just chill
Right,
out.
He did.
Relax. He's a low-key guy, and that's what you have to be in this position. And if you take a flyer on someone who's making $750 a year, if it doesn't work out, bam.
Yeah, especially you got $38 million in cap space next
Right.
year. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Red Wings are a free agent destination. Lions, Tigers, and the Pistons, for the most part, are not. But the Red Wings, if they want somebody and it makes sense for that person, they'll come here.
People are asking in the YouTube chat thread, D-Mac, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. Tammy Chin says Zadina will be shopped. Nemetsnikov trade bait.
Yeah, I think that, when you go down the lineup, I mean, there's very few, if any, untouchables in Steve Yzerman's in his logic. You look at what, last year, he'd re-signed Anthony Mantha to a long-term deal and then dealt him at the trade deadline. So, I mean, everybody's up for grabs. I think that Zadina might be part of people's conversations, but he's not going to just get rid of him. He's not going to give him up. It's going to be something that builds. You look at the Mantha trade. You look at how we're waiting. Even though we missed the whole season this year, we saw what Jakub Vrana could bring to this team, and hopefully we will see it again tomorrow night. But, again, #WiserPlan. So whatever it is, nobody's saying, because whatever makes the team better, that's his first priority.
No, which is understood, but certainly a winnable. Expect to win that game tomorrow. And again, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's not. I'm disappointed with what happened over the weekend. They got crushed against the Panthers. There's no other way to put it. They got crushed. But again, that's why I bring these things to D-Mac's attention. He can talk me back down, and then everything's cool. See, I'm cool again.
Yeah,
I am. And D-Mac, you know where I am with
I know.
it.
It's
In my heart, I'm cool with
You
it.
get on the hype train and you get they expect more, but they are what they are. Look, they scored goals. That's great, but they can't keep it out of the net. They can't, and you see the difference. It's glaring. The difference when they don't play that game they played against Carolina, when they play the game they played against, the Colorados and the Torontos and the Florida teams that are at the top of the league. Those are the playoff teams. Those are the teams. You can see the difference. That's what we're striving to get to.
And, Neil, you shouldn't. Let me talk you down from the ledge.
Okay, I'm not on the ledge, but
okay, if you say so. You shouldn't look at games and get upset about games. What you need to do is you need to look at periods of play, like a month period or something, because this whole thing is fluid. When you're a young team and you're building, guess what? Some nights you're gonna get your ass kicked. It's gonna be ugly.
And that's where it was. Like I go back to the win over Carolina, right? Good win.
Then it's gonna be wins where
rock
where
solid
did that
win.
come from?
Yeah, and that's what I'm like. Okay, are we gonna turn the corner now?
You can't do that.
I know, T-Foss. I know.
You know why? This is a volcano. A volcano's happen. So there's going to be molten lava splashing all over the place. You're going to see some games like, damn, here we go. And you're going to see like a period or two, like, man, these guys look terrific. But then you're going to see slop and goop and everything and mental breakdowns at the end of the game, because this is a fluid situation. This is not the team that Steve Yzerman wants to have long term. Now, there's some pieces there, but he's building something.
And I understand that, and I'm cool with it. I am. It's just I get disappointed.
Still get upset after
I do. When they get crushed like that, I do get upset. I have to be better. See, what do I always say? I can look in that camera, and I can point to the man in that camera right there and say, "You need to be better. You." Not because somebody else did something, that's why I'm doing this. No. You need to be better. And I can do that. T-Foss, I can look.
I'm proud of you.
My friend Darren McCarty has taught me about accountability. That starts with the person yourself. Accountable to yourself, then to the others in the room. So I have to be accountable to this guy
Darren,
right here. Thank you, Darren. Thank
Took
you.
a long ways to get here, but you know what? We're fine. We got here, boys.
We got here.
We don't thank this man enough, so we need to thank him when we can.